Welcome, everyone. This is Fran Horvath and Sue Bell. We are very excited to be talking to you today about our U-Card rewards program opportunity. This is going to be very exciting. Uh, we have been playing around with this for just a very short time and have gotten some phenomenal results. So we are excited to be showing you what we're playing with, and hopefully you will find some beautiful ways to use it for yourselves and for your. Yes, exactly. Sue's evil laugh is the official kickoff of the webinar.
Does that mean you want slide 2?
Well, yeah. Am I doing the presentation? Sure. Guys, tell me how many people were actually on the original webinar when we introduced this the other day?
On Monday. Was it only Monday?
I don't know. I don't even know what day it is today. I was telling people that today's webinar was tomorrow, so don't ask.
Well, that's probably helpful.
Okay. All right. So
quite a few.
Watched replay. Okay.
Okay.
So most everybody sounds like has the general gist of it.
Since this is a replay, I would still go into, or since we're going to have a replay, I would still go into the basics.
Yeah, we'll go over the whole thing, but just the high level overview, guys. This is literally the easiest thing that I have ever sold in my entire life, and I've been in sales since I was, well, younger than officially, working, but my official career in sales started when I was in my very early 20s. And I have never offered anything that was so easy to sell and so well received and worked so well. Literally the biggest problem you're going to have is people not believing that it's real because it sounds too good to be true. So that's going to be your dilemma going to market, and you will be able to overcome that. We'll show you how, but it's dead simple and it works, and it can actually literally build small businesses, so you can feel good about what you're doing too. So just from a perspective about why we're talking about this, it's a no-brainer. It's great for the agents and the agencies trying to sell it. It's a lifesaver for the merchant, and it doesn't work for everyone, but we'll get into who it works for and who it doesn't work for. But the people that it works for, it will do wonders for their business. Some of them that will be able to open completely new locations with a volume of business that we send them. Others will just have nice incremental sales that keeps them thriving rather than struggling to worry about where their customers are coming from next. So, okay, that is my high level overview. The basic concept here is that you are selling something, you're selling advertising that the people don't have to pay for until you drive results. And I don't know of anything, other than like a pay-per-call or pay-per-click selling per lead. And anybody who's ever done that knows the struggle of getting paid. This is literally, we drive sales from online advertising into their stores, and people buy stuff, and then you get paid. And the great thing is you're not doing any of the fulfillment part. So you're bringing a small business on, they're getting advertised on big major websites, and it's a guaranteed ROI because we're taking a X amount of percentage of marketing fee, and it's the same every time. Okay, we can go on. So just imagine you logging into your Bank of America or your Chase account and you see an offer from Starbucks, which is my favorite example. I probably should change up my examples. But you see an offer for Starbucks and you say, yes, I'd like that $5 off of Starbucks. And you just click the button. So in Bank of America, that's how it works, right? You search on Yelp for local massage, whatever, not a massage parlor. I don't want to say that. But let's say hair salon. Let's do hair salon, local hair salon. And in Yelp pops up your business owner that you sold this service to, and they pop up with a 10% off offer. Now, here's the beautiful thing. Everybody hates Yelp. every merchant on the planet hates Yelp because Yelp calls them 7,000 times a week, offers them things that don't help their business, and they just harass them, and they sell high cost products. And I guess we shouldn't be bashing other businesses, but this is part of what I talk when I talk to merchants and I talk to them about Yelp. You're going to get this feedback that nobody likes Yelp, so you might as well just jump in first and explain that you understand it. Yelp has not really helped anyone, but it's a necessary evil that you're there, because when people are searching for services, local services, they're going to search on Yelp. So Yelp does not sell this service, but they are one of our publishers. So you're selling a service on Yelp that Yelp doesn't even provide. So they're publishing your customers' ads. So when they search for hair salon and your customer pops up, there's going to be a little ribbon that shows 10% off or whatever their discount is. And it's going to actually appear above, get this guys, it's going to actually appear above other listings for people who have advertised, spent money directly with Yelp. That's, if you understand that, Yelp's not selling the service directly, but they're giving it priority over the services that they actually sell. So there's over 1,500 publishers on this platform. We usually just talk about the major ones that people will recognize, like the Bank of America, the Southwest Airlines, the Virgin Airlines, the Hilton Honors Programs, Yelp. Then there's specialty apps like Swagbucks and coupons.com, things like that. Next, please. Because I don't have control over this, right?
No.
This is just an example of what a Yelp listing would look like. They would show up on Yelp. And they just obviously highlighted this, get 10% cash back when you dine here. So that's what the consumers will see when they're searching for a restaurant. So in this particular case, maybe somebody searched for restaurants in San Francisco, and this listing showed up. All they have to do is click that button that says enroll in cash back. And in Yelp's case, they can click on that and associate any credit card they want. And they just have to go to the donut store or whatever, or I'm sorry, it's a juice store in this case. It's a juice bar. They just have to go to that juice bar with the card that they registered with and pay. When they walk in the door and get their smoothie or their ice cream, they pay with their linked credit card. Nobody knows anything different. The little girl at the checkout stand at the juice stand, she doesn't know that there's a credit linked offer here. She just knows that she sold herself a strawberry banana smoothie. They have a back office they log into, and they can see transactions in real time, but there's nothing for the merchant to do. They just run their transactions as usual. Okay, next. This one's how Bank of America looks. When you log into your account, it's, get 10% off your next trip to the dealership. Come to Applebee's. You see right here under the Applebee's offer, look, you've earned $5.65 cash back. If you look down a little bit under Outback, this is the brilliant thing about this. The programs like the banks and the airlines and even the hotels, if you actually have a credit card with that publisher, so if you have a Bank of America debit card or credit card, if you have a Southwest Airlines rewards card, they know what you're spending money on, right? They know where you go. They know where you're going out to eat. They know where you're shopping. They know what kind of things you buy. So they know how to target for your merchant. So say, for example, your merchant was Applebee's. You could let them know that we are going to target your competitors' customers. So this is what's called conquest marketing. So we're going after people who are likely consumers for you. So this particular person went to Outback. Next time they logged in, they saw an offer for Applebee's, and they connected that. They just checked, yes, I'd like that offer. And then they went to Applebee's and spent $37.70 and got cash back on that particular transaction. So nothing for the consumer to do except link their card, nothing for the merchant to do, but what they do every day anyway.
And it not only scalps competitor traffic, but if you've gone like down here at the bottom, you've got Dick's Sporting Goods. There's an offer for Dick's, so it encourages you to come back as well.
Yeah, and that's kind of a little bit of a misrepresentation. It's just an example of how this thing works. You can, because some of the biggest thing that your merchants are going to be concerned about is giving discounts to their existing customers. And this is specifically trying to target new business, but there is a piece of retention that comes with this. It's very important because business owners have the tendency to think that once somebody comes into their store, that's their customer and they never go to a competitor. Well, number one, that just isn't reality. And number two, they get, even at the best, when you have the best relationship with a customer, there's a fatigue that gets involved, even when you go to a salon that you've gone to for years. Now, women have a tendency to stick with the same person over and over again, but I will tell you, there are service businesses that I love that I would go to without ever thinking twice about it if they would just give me the same level of service every time I walked in the door. But it just doesn't happen anymore. They give you great service the first few times you're there. Maybe by the time you're a regular customer and you've been there 4 or 5 times, they forget to massage your arms when you're getting your hair cut. They don't give you that great scalp massage. And you just start thinking, well, maybe I should check around and see if there's somebody else out there. So this is going to help you retain your clients as well. And one of the little things I like to tell the merchants when we're talking, if they're searching for you on a search engine like Google or Yelp shows up, they're looking for a new business. So if you show up and your offer shows up in search, they were shopping you anyway. So your ad just brought them back in the door. And we do have statistics, and there's backup for this that you can use as collateral that show the retention pieces and also the increased amount of spend. And I'm pretty sure that's in the slideshow later on. So we'll get to it. If it's not, you guys remind me to mention about retention and increased spend. Okay, and this is just how it looks on Hawaiian Airlines. So just so you know, all the ads are a little bit different. Like when we think of online advertising, most people, even your customers, if they're savvy, they're going to be thinking of display advertising. So they're not all like that. You saw the Bank of America was just the logo and the offer. Yelp was, just Yelp listing with a little banner that said 10% off. And this is what one of the airlines offers looks like. Just a little picture and the offer. So the offers can be something like simple, like just 10% off, or it can be very specific, like if you're targeting a specific service or a product that you want people to buy. So you can be very specific about your targeting, but regardless of what they walk in the door and buy, regardless of what your ad says, when they walk in the door and spend money, they're going to get their discount on whatever they buy. So, but the targeting, you can do specific targeting for specific campaign strategies. And that's part of the strategy of working with this program as well. Some of the partners, and guys, when you get involved in this, these are the partners that you are authorized to put their logos on you get a branded website with this, and you're allowed to use these logos on your site and say you are an authorized partner. And you are authorized to sell this rewards program for them. So this is really powerful. This is your social proof. This is your authority here. When you tell people that you run part of the rewards program for Bank of America and PNC Bank and Virgin Airlines and Hawaiian Airlines, that's an awful lot of credibility right there. There's over 1,500 websites and apps, as I mentioned before, and the consumer reach is ridiculous. Now, this is for local or national businesses. It'll work for both. The way the targeting works for local is obviously not just geo-targeting, but that conquest targeting as well, trying to find your competitors. And obviously national works the same way. It's just in a bigger geo-targeted region.
Is this US only, or is it US, Canada, or how far does this program go?
Right now, just US. Canada will be open. They keep saying it's going to be open anytime now, so I suspect it'll be open by first quarter. But you guys can work from anywhere and sell in the United States. This is literally up until about 2 years ago, these rewards programs were not available to anyone but major companies, right? The only time you ever saw offers were for big brand name companies like Fortune 1000 companies. Now it's available to anyone who has a decent reputation, right? You don't want to give somebody advertising on Bank of America who's got terrible reviews. Like if they're a 1 or 2 star business, Bank of America isn't going to want to advertise them. So, but any kind of small service industry, they've got to have a physical location. So this is what is called online to offline. This is the only real strategy for driving online to offline sales, and it's completely 100% trackable. And there's no other marketing available today that can drive online traffic to an offline store and track it and guarantee an ROI.
Can I get into the evil stuff yet?
It depends. How evil?
Evil. Evil.
Sure.
All right, good. So, the downer is if you try to do this program manually, like if you go and try and like look up in Yelp and find what is considered a quote gold standard, and we'll give you what the gold standard is in a bit, but it has to do with like having a good set of reviews and being a big enough store. So going and trying to do that manually, and then going and trying to find the email for that place, and then going and trying to send them an email manually, like that's where this program becomes, well, I mean, I'm a technologist, right? I like to automate things. So doing anything more than once or twice manually just drives me right around the bend. So my tech team last night reviewed 3 different Yelp scrapers. And we posted inside the secret Facebook area. And if you're not a member of the secret Facebook area yet, give me your email address and I'll make sure that you get in there. So inside the secret area, I posted their findings. The cheapest one was the best one. And so then you go and you do the scraping with that tool. And then you take what gets scraped and you put that into an emailer on your computer. Don't try to stick it. Don't try to import it somewhere. And you send out those emails. And this is how Fran took first place in the competition for Umbrella, right? So so I want to give you guys those tools too, because it makes it absolutely brain dead. So she's got this phenomenal email, which was actually the canned email from Umbrella, but it's very compelling. And you added the calendar link right to that, right?
Yeah, I never talked to a single person until they raised their hand and scheduled an appointment with me on my calendar.
Exactly. So you drop that calendar link in the same initial email, and you just set your computer to send the emails out, and you walk away. And the people who are interested, they line up on your calendar, and you call them at the appointed time. And so Fran's got this amazing 75-80% close ratio because it's free for the end user, right? It's free until somebody actually buys something. It's guaranteed 500% ROI. Who's not going to do that? So
we have an example of one of at the very end, one of our actual customers that we brought on board, which is a restaurant. And this lady, she literally went to her Bank of America and asked about this after she and I spoke on the phone. She was so excited about it. And her rep at Bank of America said, there is absolutely no third-party people who run our rewards program. This is not real. So she told me that, she needed proof that this was real. So I had to struggle with her. I don't have, Bank of America didn't give me a letter saying that I can sell this. So I have what I have. I have what's in the training. And I talked her through it, got her to agree to go on it, even though she thought I was, stealing her credit card information. And she had originally asked to cancel. So even though she and I worked it out and said to go ahead, they accidentally canceled her. And when she found out she was canceled, she flipped out. Because as soon as we turned her on, she started getting sales. I mean, people walked in the door and she was making money the very next day. I mean, it's a restaurant, right? So people were walking in. I don't remember if it was the same day or the very next day, but she started making money right away. And she called me and she's like, "What happened? I was getting business and now all of a sudden there's no business." And I looked to see and they turned her off. She's like, "Turn me back on right now and send me as much business as you can." It's literally the only person that I had a struggle with was because some lady at a Bank of America branch who doesn't know anything about anything gave her bad information. And I almost lost that customer. And now she will kill me if I turned it off. She did, I think, $4,500 in sales in, like literally, she hasn't even been on this thing she's been on for a little over a month, but it's about a 3-week ramp up time from the time you turn them on to go live for all the publishers to start showing their ads. Like some of them will show the ad right away, and some of them it'll take 2 weeks to get them up because some of these big businesses, they don't make changes like that on the fly. So just a small little Thai restaurant in Atlanta, and we drove an extra $4,500 in sales in 1 month.
Wow.
And I didn't do anything. I literally, when you see how easy this is, guys, I had a half an hour conversation with her and then a couple more because I had to, smooth over this thing that happened. But literally, she fills out the registration form herself. I make her go to a website and fill out the 30-second form. That's simple. And then I fill out the back end stuff like her address, which I get from her website or from Yelp. And it takes me about 60 seconds to fill out the form. And it's done. I have a customer now. Now, I'm not saying that you don't ever have to talk to these people and you don't have to do anything. Like the whole thing, we'll talk about the sales process and what makes it really work and why I was able to sell so well once you get inside. But the beauty part of it is it's really just about the first couple of months and making sure that they understand the program and that they're getting enough business or not too much business. So it's just a balancing act, but we'll go into all that later.
Excellent. You've gotten just a little quiet again. I don't know if you moved further away from your microphone.
No, but I'll move a little closer. How's that?
Okay, that's good.
Okay. And there's nothing for the merchant. This is the beautiful part. Nothing for the merchant to do at all. They just run their business like normal because you're just linking your credit card and going in and paying. They pay full price. So say it's $100 widget that somebody's buying. They pay $100, and on the back end, we invoice the merchant for our marketing fee and for whatever their discount is. So if they're giving a 10% discount off and we have a 10% marketing fee, we just invoice them with a credit card that they have on file, and it gets automatically deducted. So they don't have any kind of learning curve. Customers don't have to deal with coupons, and you're dealing with a whole nother level of customer when we're talking about these rewards programs, right? These are not Groupon type customers. I mean, they'll use it too, but people who would never use a coupon and walk into a restaurant will use this because they're earning rewards points on their credit cards. And somehow it seems more civilized to people because they're getting cash back from their bank, they think.
Interesting.
Invoicing is absolutely automated. They get an invoice. Every single merchant on the program gets an invoice on the 2nd of every month, and then it's an automatic deduction from their credit card that they put on file the day they register. Their registration, the 30-second registration I told you about, is basically them just giving us the pertinent information for how to bill them and their merchant ID number, because how this is tracked is literally through their credit card processing machine. So Visa, MasterCard, American Express are actually tracking the sales that we send through their credit card scanner. And again, this is the same thing. The consumers link their debit and credit cards wherever they find the offer, whether that's on Yelp or Bank of America or Virgin Airlines, and then they go and purchase with that credit card. And then when they purchase it, we can see the transaction. And the merchant also has a dashboard where they can actually log in and see the transactions in real time. So it's connected directly. The banks are connected directly to the merchant's merchant account. So it's real time reporting as well. Now, Jamie, that probably is an example of a rewards program, and you guys can find rewards programs. Jamie just popped in a Wells Fargo rewards program. Here's the thing. These merchants can go sign up, and some of them do. You'll talk to people and they'll say, oh yeah, we have a rewards program with Hilton. Oh, that's great. That's awesome. We have 1,500 publishers. If you want to go sign up with every one of these publishers individually, the merchants can do it themselves. They have to manage all that accounting, because the accounting that is done here that is making it so simple is the Empire technology. So nobody has this technology but us. So even though the rewards programs are out there individually, and some of them are in bundles, like there are some companies that manage these reward programs, and they might handle like 10 rewards programs or 20 rewards programs. But the merchant would have to go and sign up for every one of them, and each one of them would have their own management piece to it. This is the simplest thing that you will ever show them, and they couldn't manage something like this themselves. There's just no way. Empire's technology is a multi-million-dollar technology that's running this. So this is just it. This is this thing we've been talking about over and over again. They link their credit card. The consumer gets notified that they've earned cash back, right? And the cash back is deposited into their bank account or whatever. Some of the airlines, instead of cash back, they translate it into frequent flyer miles, but that's not, we don't have anything to do with that. It's just part of that particular rewards program. It just happens on its own. The thing to know about this is it's just simple. It's simple for the merchant to do. And this is the transparent reporting. So this is what the merchant sees. They can log into this. They get the last four of the credit card, so they can see in real time the actual dollar amount and the last four of the credit card. So it matches up to their merchant service statement. Exactly.
Yeah. And they also see the fees, and they see their net revenue.
And this is, again, just the marketing performance. I mean, you guys, how many of you have sold something that you were able to instantly generate results and have the transparency like this? I don't know of anything.
Oh, so that's this box right up here. They get to see how many people, for branding purposes, you get to see how many customers actually saw your brand.
Yeah, and there's potential guys that, I mean, the worst case scenario is that nobody ever buys anything from them. And in that case, they never pay you a nickel, but they have 198,000 views. So their brand was shown everywhere.
Yep.
I'm working with somebody, one of our clients actually right now, who is in a business that will get paid by insurance. A lot of the payments will be made by insurance companies, and probably because it's a higher ticket item, they will pay by check. We're still going to put them on this program, and they will get an awful lot of exposure, and we will probably see very small percentage of their actual sales. We'll probably get rewarded for putting them on that program for maybe a fraction. I would guess maybe 20, 25%. I think 25% will be high. If we get 20% of what we're actually driving them, that'll be a lot. So the business is going to just make out like a bandit on this program, because they're going to get anything outside of the credit card spend we can't track. And if we can't track it, they don't get billed for it. So it's free branding.
So they also get to see how many customer visits. They get to see the total revenue for the month or for the time period that's being shown. And then they get their transaction history in detail underneath that. So we have a lot of questions that are asking about what kind of merchants are ideal for this.
So if you guys think about like your local business, and once you get inside, there's a list of merchants that are ideal. There are some restricted, like you cannot do this for attorneys. But if you think about it, just think about it logically, what kind of businesses take credit cards? So this thing Empire started out as Mogul, which was a food app. And they just, because it grew so big, they they've grown it into what it is today, but they were just about restaurants. So restaurants are perfect for this. And the opportunity is still huge. Like I said, they've been doing it for about 2 years. And even in that 2 years, they've only grown to, it's a little bit bigger now, but when I got on board a couple months ago, only 10,000 restaurants. Out of all the hundreds of thousands of restaurants in the country, they only have 10,000 on their platform right now. So it works for restaurants ideally. Anything that there's continual, people use more than once, right? They keep going back. Oil change services, spas, any kind of service like heating and air conditioning, your plumber, your dentist, your chiropractor, non-invasive medical treatments work. So just kind of think logically, any small business that uses a credit card and uses it regularly, it's a service that people go back to is a really good prospect for this. And these are just some actual case studies. So this sushi bar, they made, I don't know what this period of time is, if I can't see the bottom of this slide if it shows that, but I
don't think any of them actually gave the time period.
So when this slideshow was created, this was probably their lifetime total. So they made $152,000, almost $153,000 as of a few, 4 or 5 months ago. Starlight, and again, bars are not really allowed, but if there's a restaurant with a bar inside of it, that's okay. So we can't advertise things like alcohol and tobacco and that kind of stuff. But if it's a bar inside of a restaurant, that's fine. You just have to, it's going to be advertising the restaurant, or if it's got if it's gambling, things like that. Anything you can't do on display ad, you can't do with this. But if it happens to have a restaurant inside of it, then you can get around it. Okay, so these guys did about $10,000. This is a San Francisco restaurant. That cheeseburger is making me very hungry. That's a nice little bump. And for restaurants, guys, their margins are really, really low. So when you're selling something like this, they sell it as incremental sales. So if we send this restaurant 20 new customers, I mean, this is a big restaurant, right? If we sent them 20 new customers a day, that doesn't change their cost structure at all. It doesn't change. They don't need to hire new people. They don't need to spend any more money on lighting or rent. So it's the only way these guys can actually add to their ROI and not increase. It's the only way that they can increase their lifetime value. It's a beautiful strategy for these businesses. Greasy Jazz. Oh my God, it looks so good. Sushi bar again. We went the wrong direction, eh? Or we have the slide in twice.
The slide might be in there twice.
Okay. Ice cream place. Awesome. Taco John's. This is just a crazy. So this is a franchise, but this was, I believe, this was just one location, and they started. Oh no, here it is. 400 locations. I'm sorry. This wasn't obviously my client. They started in the first quarter of this year, and this slide was from, again, 3 or 4 months ago. So it was just a short amount of time and an awful lot of revenue. And here's the beauty, the average order value. That's what I was starting to tell you earlier. Your customers, the merchants' customers are going to spend more money because it's rewards. It's just a psychological thing. They're getting 10% back, so they want to maximize that reward program.
Exactly.
Or they're getting points on their airline, so they want to get the most for their visit. So they spend more money when they come in. Not only are they driving new traffic, but they're increasing. The slide said 10% cost. Oh, okay, so the cost, there's a marketing fee, and then there's a promotion fee. So your consumer, say your merchant was Taco John's, he's going to offer 10% off to the consumer, and we're charging 10% marketing fee. So he's giving a cash back to the consumer and paying us a marketing fee. So it's a total 20%. Now that restaurant that I was talking about in Atlanta, they're doing 7% off. And again, our marketing fee is always 10%. And guys, you get 4.5% of the marketing fee. So that 10% marketing fee pays everybody. So it pays Empire, it pays you, and it pays whoever drove the sale. So if they link their credit card from Bank of America, you're splitting that 10% with all of them, but you're getting the majority of it. You are personally getting 4.5% of the marketing fee for every transaction that we send. Yes, yeah, Judy. Whatever they spend when they walk in the door, they're going to get cash back for it. Jiffy Lube, this one was crazy, and this is important for a couple reasons, guys. Jiffy Lube is a franchise, right? So they've got a budget for marketing, and when they spend money with us, right, when we drive sales to them, they're having to pay their marketing fee and their consumer rewards. So they had a budget for how much marketing money they could spend, and because they're a franchise, they have to stick to that budget every year. So the very first month that they were on board, they had $250,000 in sales. So they had to manage that budget and drive the sales down to $25,000 a month. And actually, that wasn't their sales, that was their actual marketing spend. So their sales was significantly higher than that. So we had to throttle down how often and how many sites their ad was being shown on. And we can control it like that. This is the important point I want you to understand. We don't know how well a merchant's going to do until we get them on board and see what kind of response they're going to get, but we can throttle them up or down. So for some businesses that are really slow, like certain times of the year, every business is busy at some time and slow at others. So we can throttle their advertising up and down, and it's kind of bizarre because we have no idea who's going to redeem offers when, but they can be very targeted. Like your merchant can tell you, I only want to spend $2,000 a month on this thing, and Empire can keep them at that. It's not going to be an exact number, but they're going to keep them at $2,000 a month spent. They'll be able to manage the ad, how often the ad's showing and on how many sites, and only send them the amount of business that they can that they want, that they can handle. Because the worst thing we could do is send them more business than they can handle and hurt them. Because we're trying to help them, right? We don't want to hurt their reputation by putting too much pressure on them if they can't grow that fast or they can't handle all the traffic.
Yeah, I think it's great. Their increase in average order value is almost 60% increase because the client's getting 10% off.
Right. It's just
awesome.
It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. And again, yes, it doesn't cost the client 20%. The client's marketing fee is 10%, and then they've got a consumer reward, which can be whatever it is they want to some degree, whatever they want. They can only go so low. Otherwise, we won't put it on the platform. They can't advertise. Restaurants can't advertise below 7%, and other businesses can't advertise below 5% off. But who would want to anyway? What's the incentive for anybody to do anything if there's not a good enough offer? But this is guaranteed. The reason I'm saying it's not cost is because if you gave me $100, and every time you gave me $100, I was giving you $500 back, is that a cost? No, that is growth. That, we all have to buy. Marketing costs money, right? We all have to buy our customers somehow or another. It costs money to acquire a customer, and it costs money to keep a customer. So it's part of your budget. And yes, it's 10% marketing fee and whatever their consumer incentive is. That's what it is. So if I walked in the door and I spent $100, then I'm gonna end up costing $10 for marketing and $10 for a cash back. So for every $100 I give them, they keep 80. And there's no, if they have AdWords or Facebook ads, if this is running, it depends on the business. I mean, if it's a restaurant, they could probably stop doing pretty much everything else they're doing, depending on how fast they can grow. And depending on their reputation, I will tell you that if they've got a decent reputation, then it's pretty easy for this thing to go crazy and bring them a lot of business. If they don't have any reputation, it's going to be slower growth, but it's still a restaurant. and people know they're there. So most, even new restaurants that don't have a reputation will grow pretty fast.
So it takes a couple of weeks to get the client set up. So if you were going to pitch this, you'd probably pitch that that you keep the AdWords going for a couple of weeks, and then as it starts to take off, you scale it back and you kind of see how everything goes.
Yeah, I wouldn't stop anything in particular. I would just, that's part of the consultative approach. So you don't know what kind of response they're going to get, but you also, part of your consulting with them is that we just have to stay close for the first few months just to make sure, again, that we're not driving you too many sales, because worst case scenario is if we don't drive any sales, it doesn't hurt anything. They just get branding. So the really,
Right.
really the thing you have to watch is that you're not driving them too many sales. And for the most part, that's not going to happen. But for restaurants and oil change places, things that everyone uses, it could very well happen. Okay, this is the actual restaurant that we onboarded. This is showing the date from August to October, right? But they actually onboarded on August 26th, and they were turned off. I mean, they went live on August 26th, but going live means that they were officially approved and all of the platforms had received their information. That doesn't mean all of the platforms actually published their ads yet. So once you go live, it does take a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, to get up to full speed. So this is literally a month of being on this platform.
Yeah, not even quite an entire month.
Yeah.
So,
and this is the one again that got turned off for a couple of days.
Right.
Yeah. So a lot of traffic, decent amount of revenue, and very little cost. Look at that. They're offering 7% cash back. That's why it's not adding up to 20% if anybody's trying to add that up.
Nice.
And then this one, I just had to show because I literally turned him on. He went live. I got an email that his account was live last night at like 7 o'clock. And I didn't even have a login to his dashboard yet. It had just gone live. And when I checked this morning, he had a sale. I mean, how many things have I've been selling online for a really long time. Nothing happens this fast, guys. So it's just nice to be able to deliver what you're promising.
So this one up here is a shoe store.
It's a shoe manufacturer. Yep.
Yep.
So that's a pair of sandals or something. And part of the package fee. Yeah, I don't charge any kind of setup fees. I want the recurring income. And guys, you can see by these numbers, right? These are small businesses. That shoe manufacturer will end up doing some nice business, but you could get a big franchise and make a whole lot of money right off the bat. But for the most part, if you're just bringing in like the businesses that you go to see every day, like the restaurants you go to, the dry cleaner you visit, the guy who fixes your air conditioning, that's just going to be small amounts of money for you every month, and it'll be a nice slow growth. But the beauty of it is, and why we sent the email the way we did, this is how credit card companies make their money, on a percentage of every transaction that the merchants make, right? And the consumers. You're getting to do the exact same thing. And whatever scale you want to do this at, you can. I mean, you can just let it grow systemically, let the businesses just, come as you're marketing to them. You can do mass emailings like I was doing. You can go after the big franchises to make a huge, kind of dent in your sales. But the franchises will be in the bigger companies, just like anywhere else, will be harder to sell, right? And it's going to be harder to close somebody that you have to talk to 2 or 3 or 4 different people. So what I would recommend is if you get in, just start with just regular, the restaurant down the road, the guy that knows you because you come in there. But like I said, I've never met a single one of these people that I've sold. I've never done anything but talk to them on the phone. So it's up to you how you do it, but I would just start by getting my feet wet, selling the easy ones, the low-hanging fruit, get comfortable with it, and then start going after some of the larger ones that can, really pay the bills.
Okay, so one thing that we talked about very briefly on Monday are the gold standard restaurants. From here until March, you are guaranteed for every gold standard restaurant you bring on, you're guaranteed $100 a month.
So if that restaurant only generates $50 a month for you, Empire is going to supplement that and give you the other 50. So you're going to make at least $100. And the gold standard, we've got a little chart, and once you get inside, you'll see. But it's just how many reviews they have, the number of stars versus how many reviews. And you don't have to be a 5-star restaurant to be a gold star. It's just if you have a lot of reviews and you're 3-star, you still can qualify for gold.
Yep. So no, Blue Ocean Marketing is not Empire. Empire, spelled with a Y, is partnered with Umbrella, and these are the people who are launching this software. And because we're into disruptive marketing, we feel like this is one of the most disruptive programs out there. Yeah, that's your join link. Let me shoot it to everybody here. Hang on a second. So there was one other point that I wanted to make that I didn't get into the slide deck. Gone. It'll come back around. So we talked about what kind of companies are good for. This isn't going to work for your digital marketing company that doesn't qualify as one of the, because there's no tangible physical product that gets sold.
And for those of you who are thinking about your e-commerce business, it doesn't really work for that either. It's intended for brick and mortar. Now, I will tell you, like our shoe manufacturer, he doesn't even really technically have a store. He's a manufacturer, and his shoes are sold in retailers all over the place. But they've got their manufacturing facility that sometimes people walk in the door and buy shoes. But his sales are mostly online. But because of the size, it's okay. So if it's a large company that's doing national business online, it's one thing. But drop shippers and the typical, Shopify stores are not going to qualify unless they have a physical store.
Exactly. How do you handle giving the cash back every time to recurring customers? So we don't handle it at all. It's all done automatically.
Are you talking about?
Oh, why are they giving a discount every time? This is Andy.
Okay. Why am I giving a discount every time? So here's two sides to this. There's an actual incentive for people to keep coming back to your location rather than going somewhere else. So there's retention strategies there, but they are also going to be coming out with, right now it's an all or nothing. Like people get signed up and you get that discount no matter who comes in how many times. We will be able to implement limitations, and that's coming very soon. They've already started that process, but because we're selling all the platforms all at once, we can't offer it right now because there's only certain publishers that have implemented it yet. So once we get all the publishers on board, then we can offer it. But I will tell you, I will only sell that limitations as a last resort to save somebody from not closing, because you don't make as much money if they have limitations, and it's really not, as far as I'm concerned, there are very few businesses that will benefit from having limitations. Now there are some that sell things like some of these massage franchises, for example. They have membership programs, and they won't make any money if they give their discount on their membership programs and on their walk-in business. So they've got to be able to exclude the memberships from that, and that's understandable. But for most businesses, there's no real incentive, because there's the studies inside. You'll get a Visa study that shows that people will spend more money and they continue to come back more frequently with these reward programs. So even regulars will spend more money in the long term. in the long term when they have a rewards attached to it.
So Jamie asked, do they reject clients? Is the application, is there an application process? So here's the thing. If they don't meet the gold standard, like the gold standard is the ideal. And if they don't meet the gold standard, then they won't get shown on as many platforms. If they meet the gold standard, they're shown on all 1,500 plus platforms. Otherwise, some of the sites are more discriminating, but they don't have to have a certain number of reviews. They don't have to have, if they're already your client, you can sign them up. There's not that kind of a limitation in that regard. Yeah. However, I find it to be a really good opportunity to help them with their reputation, because the better their reputation is, obviously, the more exposure they're going to get. And the better their reputation, the more traffic they're going to get anyway.
And the only thing I would say to clarify on that is they have to have a real merchant account, which so far I've had 2 or 3 clients that use things like Square or something that just, like Sky or PayPal, and those are not real merchant accounts, so they have to have a real merchant account. And the couple that I've had that did not have real merchant accounts, we have options for them that are just as simple. I know a lot of these small businesses will use the Square kind of things because they're so simple, and there's an alternative to that we can offer them that's very easy. And this program is so exciting that people are willing to change their merchant service provider. And there are other cases where some of the merchant service providers, we just don't know if they'll work or not, and we run test transactions. What we do, we buy something from the merchant to make sure we can track the transaction, and if we can, then we can onboard them, and if we can't, they need to switch their merchant service provider.
So we got a couple people in Canada who are interested in this, and I see you guys asking some questions about, should you wait or whatever. I would go ahead and promote this to places in America right now, and then switch to Canada when it becomes available in Canada.
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't wait, because this is just a really kick-ass program, and it's not like, because of the way that you do it, you're not spending a lot of time on the phone. There's not, it's not a train smash, in my humble opinion, to do it across the border.
Yeah, not at all. I mean, it doesn't matter where you're living, as long as you can set if you do it like I did and set your calendar so that people can only schedule times to talk to you when you're available. And then depending on what part of Canada you're in, just work in the US in a similar time zone. And then you're good as gold. And we are already starting to get merchants and rather publishers in Canada, so it's coming. But I wouldn't wait, because the US is wide open right now, and you guys are just the second round of people getting in on this program. So yeah, it's wide open.
Yeah. So HSB asks about a lot of different kinds of places, like a theater company, kids shows, dinner theater, murder mysteries, cabarets. Some of those would work, some of those a little bit in a gray area. So we can talk about that more in detail in the Facebook group if you've got specific things that you're interested in. But it's also, so inside, once you get on the inside, there's a lot of training, and it gets very specific about all of the questions that you guys are asking. In fact, what we're going to do with that is we're going to wait until we close this offer, which is going to be about a week. And then we're going to onboard everybody through the training at the same time, have some group webinars, and make sure that everybody's questions get answered. There's also a 30-day refund policy for this, so you don't worry that, like, oh my gosh, my 7-day refund, it's going to be gone before I even get rocking and rolling on this if I don't like it, blah, blah, blah. No, we got a really generous refund policy, and you don't have to sweat it. So you can come in, you can take a good look around, and just rest assured that there's all your questions get answered, and everything looks good. And
yeah, and there's guys, even though we're waiting a week to onboard you because we want to do everybody at once, you actually have to go through the training. It's there, it's done, the whole program. Like I said, I've been through it all. You have to go through all of the training before you're allowed to sell it. Because think of it, guys, we're we've got Visa and MasterCard and American Express that we're messing around with, and with these big publishers, we got to be able to do things the right way, and make sure that the key here is that you just have to make sure that you understand how the whole program works, and you can communicate it to the merchants so that their expectations are met, and they understand how they're going to pay and how it all works. And even though you tell it to them, people just don't always hear things right the first time, right? So you've got a little bit of management to do with your clients, especially, like I said, the first couple of months. Just stay close with them. So you do have to go through the training before you're going to be allowed to sell it. But I did see a couple questions. There's no restrictions. I mean, you're 4.5%. That's your money. You do whatever you want with it. If you want to give a kickback to somebody, it's not like we're licensed or something. So there's no restrictions. I don't know if you need to do that with the chamber, but I think it's because what a perk this is for chambers businesses, right? Just having that perk, you probably don't even have to give up any of your commission. So I would just be a little careful on giving any of that away. And yes, you can actually have your own agents inside of this. So you can have agents who work underneath you and can go through the training. And it's your business, so you get all the money, and you're responsible for paying your agents. So that's up to you. But it's your own dashboard that you log into. Just open for 7 days. I don't know how long we're opening it for. Yeah, the restaurants, again, there are no limits right now, Jamie, but there will be. They'll be able to limit, which means they'll be able to target their slow nights. Yeah, that's coming. We don't have it yet. There's no other cost once you join this program. Now, the thing is, with this program, it's an annual renewal, but it's a one-time upfront. You know, the first payment is one-time upfront, and then after the first year, it's $67 a month. And if you guys are doing the 3-pay, we don't have that built in, so you're just going to have to re-up in a year. Are you able to track separate salespeople? We already did that one.
So somebody asked if there was any kind of scarcity to this offer. We've got a 30% discount right now that we're going to offer for the next week. I need to be able to get an email out to everybody, so I need to get over this email issue that I'm having. So it might be just a little bit longer than 7 days, but that's the idea. And then the program's still going to be open after that, but the sale price is going to go away in about a week.
All right. Yeah, the pizza shop owners, George, they will love this.
Yeah.
So banquet client. Yeah, so here's the thing, guys. You just have to realize right now that no matter what they sell, if they advertise for weddings or something at your event client, if somebody comes in and buys something else, it doesn't matter what their ad says. If somebody sees their branding and walks in the door and orders something else, they're going to get their discount on it. So what I did with one of my clients that was a medical spa, he separated his, he got a second credit card scanner so that his medical services that could be very, very expensive, I mean, like 6 figures, he didn't want to pay marketing fees on that because we can't advertise it anyway. But his massage stuff and his weight loss stuff the non-invasive medical stuff that we're allowed to advertise, he's got going through one credit card processing machine. And then his medical stuff, his surgical stuff, facelifts, things like that, he's putting through a completely different scanner. And I mean, literally, I think it cost him $75 to put in a second credit card scanner. So businesses understand. So if they have high ticket items, especially ones that we're not allowed to advertise for anyway, there's all kinds of workarounds, guys. People know that this thing is hugely valuable, and they will jump through hoops to become part of the program.
All right, so several questions on several different tabs. On average, how many hours needs to be spent on the training?
I don't know. It's probably about 20 hours. There's a lot of training material. Not all of it's mandatory before you sell, but there is some mandatory stuff like the whole process on how to onboard people. So it'll take you a good, 10, 20 hours to go through it.
How much would you guess is the mandatory part?
At this point, gosh, I don't even remember, guys. It didn't. I mean, as soon as I got in, I was just like, I was all over it. So it only took me a day or two to get through it. Also, it can't possibly be 20 hours, but maybe just say 8-10 hours.
Okay. And
Don't hold me to that. I don't remember. It's a lot of there's a lot of training in there. The mandatory part is just for your own benefit because you just have to know the stuff.
right. So yes, the $14.97 is the sale price.
We're partners, guys. We're partners with
Umbrella
Umbrella
and Empire. Umbrella and Empire are partners, and we're strategic partners with them. So somebody asked earlier, like, are there slide decks and are there emails, templates, and all of that? All of that is available. Everything that you need to sell is available.
And I'm going to go through exactly my step-by-step process with you guys, so you'll know exactly what I did, because it's almost identical to the training, but I literally did not go through, like, they train you to go through. Sorry, guys, it's dinner time. They train you to go through the slide deck with your clients. I've never done that once. I just talk to people. I just talk to them about the program and what their needs are, and if they can handle the new business.
Yeah, while you talk, I'm going to go find the slide for the gold standard, because we've had a couple people ask about that.
Okay. Okay, let me see if there's any more training videos. Martin, I think we answered that already. There's tons of training in there. The gold standard, again, it's a Yelp thing. So how many reviews do they have and how many stars? And it's just the only reason.
I'm finding that slide. Skip that question. Okay.
Well, I'm just saying the only reason that it's called the gold standard is because Empire knows that if you onboard a business with X amount of reviews and X amount of stars, that they're going to do really well in the program. So that's why they're able to guarantee you income. So, and the reason that reviews matter is because obviously people trust businesses with reviews, and they show up more often when people are searching on Yelp. So it's specifically a Yelp thing. Okay, I'm just scrolling through, see if I missed anything. If you guys, if I didn't answer your questions, good job. People are saying they're in. That's awesome.
So there's over on it. There's also a Q&A tab.
Oh, I'm just looking at the chat.
I figured. So Bill asked another question. Still not clear on the follow-on payments. If choosing the 3-pay and each of the 3 payments has been made.
In a year, Bill, you'll renew. In a year's time, your renewal will be $67 a month. So a year from the start date.
And it won't happen automatically because we can't get PayPal to jump through that hoop. So, but we'll do a tickler and we'll remind you. We'll get you hooked back in.
Yeah, we won't let you lose your. I mean, if you're making money, $67 a month is your, is one small client is going to pay.
Yeah.
So. Okay, any other? I keep muting myself because Winnie's telling me she's starving. Ethiopian puppy.
I'm just about there. Here we go.
So there's all kinds of sales collateral too. The exact script that I use for my emails is right in the program. There we go. Beautiful. So we'll put this in the little Facebook group too.
So if it says $67 a year, that's a typo. We'll get that fixed. How many clients to break even on your investment? If you have 2 restaurants, you'll break even the first year, and you'll be making money the second year. So anything after a couple of restaurants, and you're good. Like you're making money from that point on.
Yeah, guys, this is so, I mean, I've never seen anything so simple that you could pay for it by just bringing on two simple clients.
Yeah, you don't need 33 in what sales to cover the entire cost. One good restaurant is going to bring you $100. That's why they're offering the guarantee. They wouldn't offer the guarantee if they had to cough a lot of money on that. So one good restaurant's going to bring you in $100. The price of this program for the first year is $1,500. So over the course of the first year, if you land that client pretty quick, you'll get $1,200 out of that one restaurant. So then you need another restaurant, and then you've made money. If you stick to this gold standard, so the gold standard in Yelp, there's a thing that shows you dollar signs, so that if they have 2 or more dollar signs, that indicates the price of the food in the restaurant, right? So you're not looking for the $5 burger bar. You're looking for restaurants that are a little bit more expensive, and then you see the number of reviews. The more reviews they have, the lower their star rating can be, because that's just the way it goes. If you've only got a few ratings, then you want to have a good number of stars. That just okay, George, that makes sense. So if you only have a few reviews, you want your rating to be higher because those reviews count more. But the more that you get, like, if you're going to be in business, you're going to have a couple of people complain about your business. So the more reviews you have, the lower your star rating can be. And then the revenue standard is $800,000 per year in revenue. And all of that means a gold standard.
And guys, you can literally start this, and although you're technically not allowed to sell or onboard anybody right away, you could go to the restaurant that you go to every weekend and talk to the guys and say, look, I'm part of the marketing program for Bank of America's rewards program. I want to set up a time to talk to you about it. Schedule an appointment for a call in a week.
Yep.
You'll get your first client within a day or two of being done with training.
Gosh, I got to remember to talk to the manager at Panera. That would be a really good client to bring on.
Right, Jamie, if you guys do reputation, then it's perfect. If you run into people who, like the way I did this, I wasn't even scraping Yelp at the time. I was just looking at Google reviews, and I figured if their reviews were good enough on Google, because that was the scraper I was working with, if their reviews are good enough on Google, then it's a good shot that they'll be okay for this program. So I didn't care. I didn't even look at their business until they called me or set an appointment. I didn't even look at anything. I didn't want to get into any details. I don't want to put a second of work into it until I knew they were going to talk to me. And then when I looked at them, if they looked okay, we went on with the meeting. If they didn't look okay, I could either cancel that appointment or talk to them about reputation. And that's the ultimate takeaway. No, Martin, the scraper is just, it's just something. Sue's got a scraper that they've tested. That's, I think, what is it, $25 a month or something? It's not even the one I was using because I had something else already. But the one I was using was like, it's about the same price, like $400 a year.
Yeah, it's nominal, and you want to marry that along with some kind of a emailer that you can do off your computer. That's the next thing. We're going to look at testing that over the course of the next couple of days. So by Monday, we will have you the whole kit and caboodle, everything that you need, and it will be very inexpensive.
And you guys don't have to do it this way. I'm just saying I was able to send out, 50 emails a day, 100 emails a day, and that's why it was so easy for me to land so many clients. I'm just saying.
Fran, we do world domination here.
I'm just saying, if people are intimidated by having to do other tools or having, you could literally walk out your door, go to a restaurant, sign somebody up. I mean, if you are, I don't ever leave the house. I don't ever talk to anyone. I don't know anyone except for you guys. So I don't have anybody to talk to except for cold calls. And these emails were complete, flat out, cold. I made up a Gmail email address to use with this thing. And then I burned it because I was, I got reported for spam, I'm sure.
Sure. So you're going to want a couple of emails. Were you using a Gmail account or were you using a domain?
Gmail, because I didn't want to use my domain.
Right. So so you'll have to, get a new Gmail account every now and again.
Yep.
And we will show you all of that. Our tech team will come on and they will show you how to do all of that side of the house. Like we'll do work groups. This is the cool thing about Zoom. We can do like breakouts and work groups and stuff like that. So we'll do some of that stuff, and you guys will all be comfortable with it. I guarantee you.
Jamie, O2O is online to offline. It's a big, big, big industry, and it's the big problem that businesses have. How do I translate what I'm doing online to drive actual sales into my physical business? That's the dilemma that everyone has.
I think he was making a joke.
Me? Oh.
Yeah.
Me, I never do.
Offline to offline. You walk out the door and talk to somebody.
Yeah, that never happened. All right, sorry, I didn't get it. See, I have no social skills whatsoever.
Is there a fee for the training in addition to the 1.5K? No, there is no additional fee for the training.
Guys, and somebody asked about the website. It just comes with it. You can tweak it and add your little, your own logo or whatever. But it all comes with basically a replicated website, and you can see what it looks like if you want to go to myhunarewards.com.
Drop the link in. Don't just nobody's going to know how to spell Huna.
Well, nobody's going to go there anyway.
Is that with a K?
Stop it.
She's going to smack me by the time we get off the webinar.
I am. And I put a link on that site to my calendar, which I'm not sure if I took off or not because I signed up. I put an agent underneath me and I was going to put their calendar on, but literally nobody went to my website. I put it in the thing.
Yeah, she dropped the link to everybody. HunaRewards.com.
I didn't drop it as a link though. I didn't put the www or HTTP. Here, I'll do it again with an actual link. So it's basically
sorry, go ahead.
It's basically just like the slideshow we showed you. It's got those images of Bank of America. It's got a certified Empire partner certification symbol on it. It goes through all this process. But again, nobody goes to my website. I send them an email. I talk to them on the phone, and I sign them up. I don't think anybody visits my website.
Fran, you sent it just to panelists.
Oh, oops. No wonder nobody saw it.
Mm-hmm.
Jamie, you can steal anything you want. It's the same thing you're going to get. It's identical, except for my logo. And then,
HSB, I got you added.
Still looking. Yeah, guys, it gives you legitimacy, right? You have the rewards program. You've got Bank of America's image there that is approved. Now, I will tell you, because I know, we're all marketers, and sometimes marketers decide they want to go rogue. You're not allowed to put images of any of the other publishers that are not authorized. That will get us into trouble, which is one of the reasons you guys have to go through the training. You have to you have to be above board on this. No black hat stuff. It's not required.
So umbrellaus.com is who Umbrella is. Oh, I want to tell you a little bit more about how they handle stuff too. Umbrella and Empire are very upstanding companies, and if your client tries to circumvent you and go to Umbrella or Empire, they will send your client back to you. And in addition to that, it is in their best interest to help you as much as possible. So if you get a big client, they will come in and help you pitch it. They will help explain all of the nuances to your client so that they feel comfortable with the program. Just looking at some of the other comments. Do you want to expand on that at all?
I do. Actually with the larger clients, they want to be part of the presentation. They'll actually do the presentation with you once, you've got to have some kind of interest and commitment, but you don't have to have sold them. So some of these the larger franchises, some people were asking how you close them, how you get to them. But you have to have spark the interest. They have to have a general concept of what the program is, but then Empire wants to be the ones talking to them, especially if they're multiple locations, hundreds of locations. They'll come in and do the actual presentation. And just so you know, guys, when they're big customers like that, they're going to have a different process. Like a 100 location business is not going to pay you with a credit card. So just so you know, when you're talking to people, or just to have in the back of your mind, bigger businesses will be treated just like they're used to being treated with vendors. So they'll get invoiced, and everything will happen the way it needs to happen to bring them on board. Yeah, selling against Groupon and Living Social is just like a no-brainer. People do it because they have to fill their stores during slow times. They don't like it. They don't like the clients that they get from those kind of campaigns. And especially if you're working with somebody who's got nice services, right? If it's, even if it's a bakery, that's a nice bakery, they don't need Groupon anymore after they get something like this. Whole different clientele is going to use rewards programs that people will actually come back.
So HSB asks, what defines a big client?
I don't know what the definition is. I would say anybody that you don't feel comfortable closing.
Yeah.
Anybody who's got a management team to make a decision and not just an owner that you're going directly to. Anybody that's got multiple locations possibly. I mean, I brought on a 4-location yoga studio, but that's not a big client. They don't do enough business. If it was a 4-location restaurant franchise, that would have been a nice size business, and I might have wanted to bring help on, especially in the beginning.
Yeah.
And it depends on your level of experience in selling as well.
Yep, don't hesitate to reach out to us.
Yeah, guys, we're going to help you all the way through this thing, because every single person who joins this should succeed. I mean, there's not a single person who can't do this. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you've never left your house before. I don't care if you've never sold anything. This is just, if you have a phone and a computer, which I know you do because you're here, you can do this. It has Sue Bell blessings, yeah. Well, Gerald, Groupon puts people out of business because people don't know. Businesses try to run those things themselves, or marketers try to help people with Groupons that don't know how. You can't do any kind of marketing strategy in a vacuum, and especially not a Groupon. People sell that stuff, lose client acquisition cost. Again, there's always a client acquisition cost. But if you don't know how to retain that customer, then you could go out of business, literally go out of business. And again, now, and for quite a while now, that clientele is just coupon seekers. So it depends on what you're selling.
Yeah, I would, in terms of follow-up, I would say that you want to keep in touch just to make sure that you're not sending them too much traffic. I mean, so here's the thing. If you don't want to upsell them on any of the products, if you're not an agency where you want any other kind of client, then all you got to do is touch it and make sure that they're happy campers. But this is also an incredible trust building tool. It's an awesome foot in the door product. So you can come in with this, you can build trust with this, and then when you have time to take on a new website client or handle some other aspect of their marketing, do their blogging for them or handle their social media, then you can come back around, you make sure a couple of times that everything is going well, and then you say, hey, how about the next level? Whatever it is that you want to upsell them to.
Yeah, and guys, this particular model, it may be that you'll end up turning this traffic way down after 6 months or a year because they can't grow anymore, or because you're using one of the other strategies that we offer. This is just a bridge, or it's something that they just use at certain times of the year. So there's a lot of nuance to this, but it can absolutely be a standalone if that's all you want to do. And again, I would never put all my eggs in one basket. This thing is just starting. It's brand new. The opportunity is wide open, but you don't know. What if all of a sudden rewards programs became illegal? I'm just throwing something out there you just don't do one thing and nothing else for a business owner, because then you start over if something falls through. But yeah, I have a business owner right now that I think will probably end up just throttling this way down after we put a couple other strategies in place. So it works. You've just got to understand your customer, and this is why I tell people, work with businesses that you would use yourself, because then you understand a little bit more about the business and you can talk authoritatively about it. So I know spas because I like going to them. I've done it for years, so I know their business. I know what their needs are. I know their seasonality, so I can talk intelligently with them. And it's very easy to close a customer when you can sound like you know as much about their business as they do.
Mobile phone service providers, that probably doesn't work, eh?
I don't know. I wonder if just like a independent might work. I don't know. We'd have to ask.
Yeah.
Yes, you absolutely could put your kids to work on this. They could make nice money, and by the time she's out of college, job hunting. Oh, she is getting out of college. Yeah, she could build herself a nice little foundation with this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And again, you can have salespeople. You can have agents underneath you, and you would have to arrange with them how much money they make, right? So if you're getting 4.5%, what I did with the one agent that we put on board was we're just giving them 3.5% and taking 1, and telling them about this program. If they want to sign up themselves, they can. Yeah, the recurring income is the thing I love about this. It's not only is it easy to sell, but once people get on the program, they don't leave. There's really no reason for it unless they, like I said earlier, if they're capped at how much they can grow and they don't want to expand any farther, then this will just be a part of their annual budget for marketing. And it'll only go so far, right? If they're in a small market, they can only grow so far without adding another location or whatever the case may be. So, but if you're talking about some of the bigger businesses that will expand or have multiple locations, this can grow pretty quickly.
So, George, I think what you're asking in terms of the Gold Star Restaurant deadline, that guarantee for the moment is good through March. And the last time we talked to Edamar, they're discussing about extending that, but it's not a foregone conclusion yet.
Right, because that money is actually coming out of Itamar, and Empire are paying that themselves. So
yeah.
Okay. Any
cool.
other? Does anybody else get in? I know a few people said that they were in. Does everybody love it? Anybody see anything that sounds like there's a reason they wouldn't want to do it?
You get paid for the gold standard restaurants. You get paid $100 a month between here and March. After March, we don't know yet. Yeah, exactly. Minimum guaranteed.
And then, of course, you get paid whatever their actual revenue is, right? If it's lower than 100 a month.
Yeah. Bruce is excited. He says, "This is so freaking awesome." I agree with you, Bruce. I'm tickled pink with this program.
This is the most exciting thing I've seen in a long time. Well, we've seen a lot of really cool stuff, but this is the easiest thing I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
All right, guys, is that everybody who isn't already in the free Facebook group? Go ahead and join in there for sure, and then we'll make sure we get everybody into the private group that put their emails in.
Yep, I've been getting everybody as you guys have pinged me. I think I got everybody. Cool. A British accent always helps. Are you kidding, Alex? The Americans are just mesmerized by a British accent. Excellent. People are signing up.
Puppies are now playing and barking. And I'm just dropping in the link to the public Facebook group in case you guys.
Oh, good. Yeah. Hey, drop in my Skype too. Martin, I thought I had you in there. Hang on a second. So when I put your guys' addresses in, it sends an invite to that email address, and you have to go accept the invite. Okay, good. All right, people are signing up. Bob's your uncle. Exactly, Joel. The email has to be your Facebook email. Exactly. Good, good, good. All right, things seem to have got. Checking the other tabs. Yeah. Oh. Let me look. Let me take care of. Andy.
Sorry, guys, I'm just dropping Sue's in here now. I was locked out. My computer was locked up for a second. That's Sue's Skype handle.
All right, Andy, I sent you a reminder. So yeah, if any of you haven't gotten into the secret group and you want to, just give me a ping on Skype.
Guys, thanks so much. Really excited about this program and all the other stuff we're going to be doing with you. Thank you so much for your time.
Yep, I'm super stoked. And we'll have more tidbits coming in over the weekend, dropping more pieces of information, automation, and some of the video stuff. We'll do. I'll get Fran to do some of the videos about what she's doing, and in Skype. Wait, let me follow this line of conversation. Yeah, ping me and George. You should have gotten an invite. But if you didn't get an invite, then ping me in Skype. Yes.
Yeah, and guys, go into the public group too, the one I just dropped in here, digitaldisruption.marketing, and then we can always just grab you from there. Some people
We can?
Yeah, I mean, once we friend with them, then we can put them in the other group.
I see.
Some people are saying they don't know what their Facebook email is, so that's one way of doing it.
Ah, okay.
We can put them into their name if we're friends.
Oh, let me get that one, JP. Hang on.
Guys, we'll do all the updates for this in the private group. This won't go in the public room.
Right. Yeah, these updates will definitely be private.
Because even though we're strategic partners, we aren't going to tell all of our secrets with anybody but you guys.
Exactly. This replay will probably be public.
Yeah, public for our group. I mean, we're not going to do it like just our email list.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not sending paid advertising to it.
But guys, when you sign up, you're going to get a form to fill out so that everybody who's getting into the program will get manually set up. So it takes a couple days for the manual setup, which is one of the reasons that besides we want to let a few days go by and let people join, but we got to manually set everybody up, which is another reason we're going to wait a week or so to do our official kickoff. But you'll still be able to get in and start seeing the stuff that's already in there, but it will take, say 48 hours or so to get set up.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent.
All right. Come on, everybody. We got to go feed puppies.
All right. We'll let you go. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.